This is every shield in COD Zombies ranked from worst to best. I'm going to be ranking these based off of both how effective in-game they are, but also how aesthetically pleasing they are. So for example, with the BO2 shields, they're not very good in-game, but some of them do look really cool. If you want to fill out this tier list, I'll leave it down below in the description. You can fill it out and then tag me it on Twitter or on my Discord, whatever you feel like doing. But with that being said, let's pick one of the 12 shields that we have here. Let's start with, I don't know. Let's start with Origins. Now, this shield, I don't really know how to feel about this shield. It does look pretty cool aesthetically, and it does fit the map, but at the same time, I mean, it's not that effective in game. So based off of just how it looks, we'll put it in A tier for now. Maybe we'll bump it down to B, but we'll see. The Dragon Shield from COD. Okay. Now it doesn't really matter if we're talking about the non-upgraded version or the upgraded version, because they're both really good, and the shield itself looks amazing. It fits COD perfectly. Revelations, not so much, but DLC 4 time constraints, am I right? The Dragon Shield in COD looks fantastic. It fits the map to a T. The way the shield itself looks is really cool with the dragon's head in the middle, and when you shoot the dragon's flames out of it, really nice looking shield. And then when you upgrade this shield, it turns the flames from green to red, and I think it makes it stronger as well. But that doesn't really matter because either way, it's going in S tier. For the longest time, this was my favorite shield in Zombies. It's still in my top 3, but there are a couple shields that I like more than this one. You want to know what one of those shields are? Well, too bad, because we're not going to talk about it yet. Let's get this piece of crap out of here. The Vanguard shield, F tier. Well, D tier. Now F tier. This shield, although it does look pretty cool, I mean, objectively speaking, taking your thoughts about COD Vanguard out of the equation, it does look really cool. It does. The only problem with it is, gameplay-wise, it is actually terrible. It technically has infinite ammo, but you can only use it once every, 2 minutes or something? And I think this is the quote-unquote wonder weapon of Vanguard Zombies. So, a shield being the wonder weapon, I mean, that writes itself. Vanguard Zombies in a nutshell. Alright, next up, the prison cell shield, or the cell door shield, or whatever you want to call it, from Mob of the Dead. This is S tier as well. Or is it? I love the way it looks, but like Origins and Transit, it's not that effective in game. Mob of the Dead has a really cool looking shield, with the dolly and the prison cell door, and then you put the key in the cell door. Just a really nice touch. And then when the shield starts to get low health, the cell doors get bent and everything. Really cool shield. That again, fits Mob of the Dead to a T. Let's go next with the Rocket Shield from Shadows of Evil and Der Eisendrache. I mean, this shield looks amazing. Legitimately, it really does. It fits Shadows perfectly, but it's not that effective in game. It's definitely more effective than Origins, so I think it's gonna stay at the top of A tier for now. Maybe I'll bump it up to S tier, we'll see, but for now, A tier. Transit Shield. Now, here's the thing with the Victus maps, and this doesn't just go for the shield, this goes for basically anything in the Victus maps that you can build, whether it's like the Sliquifier or the Jet Gun, or in this case, the Zombie Shield. I really like how the Victus maps, how the buildables there, were just like random things thrown together, because that really did add to the apocalyptic nature of the Victus maps, especially Transit and Die Rise. And I kinda wish I did this with Tag, but again, we all know what happened there. BO4 didn't have a successful launch, and then Activision took Treyarch and forced him to work on Cold War before Alpha Omega even came out, and that was just one whole mess. But getting back to Transit, this shield is literally a dolly, a car door, and some duct tape. I mean, how can you not love that? And this is a hot take. I actually think this shield looks better than the Origin shield. You might disagree, and that's perfectly fine. I can totally understand why you would disagree. Like I said, I just like how everything is just thrown together. It doesn't look like an actual shield, like some of the latter shields in Zombies did. Zetsubo no Shima shield. Okay. Now this one really reminds me of Origins, just overgrown with vines and everything, which isn't a bad thing, don't get me wrong. And it does help this shield fit Zetsubo more, but it's never really been my favorite. I think I'm gonna bump this to B tier, and then put Origins behind this. Oh, wow, okay. Well, I accidentally left every single BO4 shield left. I did not mean to do that. You know what, let's get the worst shield out of the way now. Let's go with the standard BO4 Ether shield. Now, excluding the Vanguard shield for a second, this is the worst shield in zombies, like hands down. It's a generic black shield. It doesn't fit Ultimus or Primus at all. It doesn't fit any of the maps it's on. I mean, maybe you could say classified. It fits classified, okay. But it does not fit Alpha Omega with the Avogadro and all the Nova Bombers and Nova Jumping Jacks or whatever they're called, and the Elemental Mark IIs, like all those pretty colors and stuff, and we get this generic piece of garbage. Tagged or Toten, same thing. They could have at least done something like the Voyage Ice Shield, where they at least turned it a different color. But no, it's the same generic shield on Tag 2, so it is going in F tier, which should be no surprise to anybody. The Dead of the Night / Voyage of Despair shield, Scarlet Shield from Chaos. This shield, it's okay. I mean, it's nothing crazy, but it at least is more than one color. And especially on Dead of the Night, it does fit that map. Not only because the map takes place in Scarlet's father's mansion, which she built this shield, so that makes sense. And it fits the colors perfectly and the vibe of the map perfectly. At least it feels okay on that map, but on Voyage, it's leaving a little something to be desired, so I'm going to put it in C tier for now. This shield left a little to be desired on Voyage, but they figured that out. Introducing the upgraded Voyage of Despair Iceberg shield. Now this is literally the same thing as Scarlet Shield, but by doing a really annoying side quest, you can get it to spawn in from a piece of an iceberg, which is why it's all blue and frozen. Not only that, but it also comes with the Cryo Freeze alternate ammo type on it as well. So technically, this shield has infinite damage now, and it's not going to take as many shots to kill a zombie as it will with the normal shield. So with that being said, I don't think this shield goes in A tier, but it's definitely better than Origins and Zetsubo. So I'm gonna put it in B tier. Like, you might think that these two look better than Voyage, and that's fine, but Voyage is way better gameplay-wise. Like I said at the beginning, Garad Krovi's Dragon Shield was my favorite shield there for a decent amount of time, until BO4, with these two shields, Blood of the Dead and Ancient Evil, being my number 1 and number 2. Which one is which though? Well, time to find out. Ancient Evil Shield fits this map perfectly. It looks really cool. It's super satisfying to use. You can change the arrowhead on the spear, either green, orange, or blue, and do a bunch of cool side quests with that, but best of all, this shield is really overpowered gameplay-wise. The Giganese, this map's boss enemy, normally, to just about every other weapon on this map, is really resistant to it. But for some reason, the Apollo's Will can kill the Giganese from full health in anywhere from 2 to 4 spear throws. This thing is so overpowered, and it's even good against the Blightfather too, which isn't as much of a bullet sponge, so there's not really a reason to use this. And then also, you have the fact that Oracle can randomly refill your spears. This shield is just perfect. And speaking of perfect, the Brazen Bull from 9. I completely forgot to include this in the tier maker. I didn't forget about it. I just completely forgot to upload it to the website. This is an easy S tier. Beautiful shield. Fits 9 perfectly. It's really overpowered. And 9 does have a lot of enemy spam on it, more so than the rest of the Chaos maps, and thankfully, this shield is really good for taking care of that. With this shield, all the Gladiators, the Tigers, the Blightfather, the Catalyst, they all die relatively quickly to this thing. So naturally, it has to go above Mob. Does it go above the Dragon Shield? I think it does. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, these two are interchangeable. You can put one over the other and I'll be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I think we're gonna put this above the Dragon Shield for now. And last and finally not least, the Spectral Shield from Blood of the Dead. Now, regardless of how you feel about this map, you cannot deny that this shield is crazy overpowered. I'm not even including the fact that this shield looks really cool, which it does, with the afterlife, and you can look, you know what, let's go into this real quick. You can use this shield to go in Spectral Vision, or basically this map's equivalent of Afterlife from Mob of the Dead. And with this, you can find a ton of secrets around the map. But what makes this shield so great is that it doesn't have any damage fall off. The key on the Spectral Shield never falls off, so sucking 3 zombies for like a second and a half each will give you 1 blast of the Spectral Shield, which in turn can take out an entire horde of zombies just for 5 seconds of work. And since there's no such thing as running out of zombies in zombies, you have infinite ammo with this thing. Don't believe me? check out my Blood Realistic video, and you'll see that this was my main source of killing. If the traps weren't so overpowered in this map, this would be the main way people would get to high rounds. Which, love it or hate it, it's irrefutable that this shield is really OP gameplay wise. So with all the tricks you can do with it, on top of it being infinite damage, I am putting this shield at number 1. You might hate that, and that's perfectly fine. It's just this shield has way too much upside to it to be anywhere but number 1. For me anyway. And this is my final ranking for every single shield in COD Zombies, ranked from worst to best. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you want to fill this tier list out, you can find the link to it in the description. If you disagree with my list though, feel free to tell me what you would change about this list down below. Thank you to all of my members for supporting me. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to become a member and get shouted out at the end of the videos and unlock custom emotes and sub badges and all that fun stuff, click the first link in the description or click the join button below this video. And lastly, what would you guys like to see me rank next? I'm thinking about doing elixirs next, but if you all have a better idea, feel free to comment it down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.